All right, welcome to Pass the Mic. It is Friday, December 20th, 2024, our last day of school. Joining me on Zoom, Mr. Michael Gervasi. How are you?
Great to be here. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. A little technical errors behind the scene, but we're up and running, we think. Feedback and errors from last week. First of all, Gary Bailey. I ran into him the other night at the basketball game. Tough loss for the Marauders against Allen Park.
Hmm.
But first of all, we got to thank him for the Christmas cards. We're two
Yes.
episodes late on this.
Wow.
He
How
sent some.
awful of us to do that.
Well, we
Yes.
sort of got sidetracked last week because we gave them their own show,
We
and
did.
uh, and we we were supposed to thank them last week. He said it was no big deal, but very nice Christmas cards. Also, get well. He told me we wanted to make sure we got to get well out to Shannon.
She's back
Uh,
home.
she's back home. We're not going to violate HIPAA
Mm-mm.
or FERPA or either of them. Uh, but get well. Shannon's home from the hospital. Glad she's home. I'm sure that was a very stressful. The holidays. It's always a very stressful time there. I also want to give my condolences to Dr. Rice. We oftentimes poke fun at Dr. Rice. Dr. Rice lost his father this week.
Hmm.
Um, so rough week in Marauder country. And we just saw an email today. Crystal Fowler, a friend of the show, her father-in-law passed. It's
Right.
so again, it's always hard any time of year, but especially with the holiday. So I just want to do that
Holidays.
today. I want to get that
Sure.
out. I'm sure you feel the same. Um,
Hmm.
let's get on to some more lighthearted stuff. Um, Denise Browning, by the way, she wrote a very nice. Go read it. I don't want to.
Oh
I
my
don't want to do
goodness.
it
Yeah.
justice.
Well,
She
I
wrote a
agree.
very nice testimonial about when her kids were younger, and about something they wanted in the store, and how she was going through a rough patch in her life. And I
Hmm.
think it went back to my thing about people losing that sense of compassion and kindness online. I believe that's what the commentary was about.
I don't know. It might have been. I'm not saying you might be right. It also could have been because I got a few comments about this. My story with Gavin, Kristen's son, getting stranded and having
Oh
all these
yeah,
people do
I
nice
guess it could have been
things.
both ways. I mean,
Could have been
looking at
both
it both
ways.
ways.
Sure.
But also, she mentioned the cookies that we did not like. Which who came and told us they actually liked them? Was it Miss Torres that said she liked
Well,
them?
Max mentioned he doesn't like them. He thinks they're terrible, but his kids do.
They're
Um,
Russian, first of all,
they're
not
Russian.
Italian.
Yes,
That
yes.
was the point that Denise Browning gave us. And then she also we mentioned the pizzelles. She says they are actually very, as far as cookies go. I don't want RFK Jr. to come after me by saying he sells are healthy.
Yeah.
We're still trying to work our way into his cabinet or in his area, but they maybe do a little less harm than say some of the other cookies out there.
Yeah. Right.
So that's some of my feedback. What else did you get?
I got a lot. First off, I thought Max, he thinks, and I'm going to bring Downriver and Friends up a couple times here because Troy had a comment too. But is this a new bit? Peyote just reading Downriver and Friends Facebook post and Gervasi just laughing at them. I find that amusing. It is a fun time for me.
And do you know what's going on in Downriver and Friends this week?
I do not.
It started with a person put a picture of like their dog, and they're like, "Hey, can you put my dog in this Christmas background?" And it has now become every post on Downriver and Friends. Right before I got on, a guy was at a local establishment having an adult beverage. He's like, this is, he's like, can anyone put my beverage in a Christmas background? And that's what this is all turned into. It's a runaway train.
Okay. That's always comical there. And I don't know why I don't. I think it's more funny when you read the post. Something in your
Oh yeah,
delivery
like the
makes it
real. By
amusing.
the way, that same day I did, and I know some of our listeners. I did. Somebody asked about a teacher gift. I put a screenshot of a 30 pack of Miller Lite on the
Gotcha.
thing, and I got many likes.
You did. That was pretty funny. Okay. A few other things here. Max says my dad would be the old man from the Dan Le Batard show if they did this.
Yes,
He would just do and say whatever he wants when he wants. His Max's whole family agrees that he would be the host. The whole family agrees I would be the host. But then Gary seems to disagree with that on our show by saying Todd, the most level head, most sane, not even close. Oh, he does say Max would be the host though. Um,
I
so
believe
that's
Max would be the host. I believe, as far as wanting the microphone, Max would be the host. Max acts like he doesn't want the microphone, but in reality, he wants the microphone.
he's very good with it too.
He is. He's very good. He does a great job at homecoming.
And I don't know who our football announcer is regularly, but when Max takes over for him, the music is so much better. Who is it anyway? Do you know what the guy's name is?
I don't know who that is.
Uh, so he Gary Bailey also suggested his daughter, with her management experience to deal with cranky old people. This is for jurisprudence background. Underrated. His underrated are sugar cookies, sprinkles if you must, homemade slice and bake, whatever. Just good, clean, pleasant cookie. Um, Yeah, I got a lot here, Mike. So I'm gonna try to.
Max also, and I still don't know what your cookie was. Max didn't know what yours was either. I'm still puzzled, but the cake cookie, I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll have to. You know what? Maybe I'll post that on the
I
website.
think Tom Pack got a picture, tried to get a picture or something. We also, I forgot to tag Erica Madwick.
Oh, we did. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Speaking of Tom Pack, I did get this printed. Nice little 8x8
Oh
photo.
yeah,
The
great job.
collage.
That's
There you go. There's the Allen Park duo,
dorks.
Warrior Way. There's Dr. Rice. Uh, but also, there's me on TikTok. So this is going up in our studio. So thank you,
You always
Tom
got to
Pack.
plug your TikTok, don't you?
Great, great, great job.
Avon and Shannon agree with your crumble cookie take. Aaron strongly disagrees. Max is a big fan of straight chocolate chip. Pardon my kids here in the background if you heard them. Uh, my mom said, okay, so Troy sent
Yes.
a pretty thoughtful email. He hadn't listened in a while. But get this, this is really amusing. In Zoom meetings, many of us meet about a half hour early to chat and tweak the subject matter. A new favorite is me proudly showing off screenshots of Downriver and Friends posts and
Oh,
comments.
see, it's going, it's hitting the big time.
Yeah, he does. FYI, crumble cookie. Troy is a baker. Crumble cookie is better when you
Oh,
get the mini version, so he does offer that.
yeah. There's mini
Right.
versions.
Yes.
Okay.
Um, regarding the shooter that you mentioned, he
Yeah.
wrote an op-ed that was trashed because and his local
Troy did.
publishers didn't want to get involved. He is of the belief an eye for an eye leaves everybody blind, to quote, Gandhi. But he also understands the frustration people have. And Chris Pate kind of sent us something
Yes.
similar, in that regard. So I think that commentary really touched the nerve with people. Gary Bailey also apologized for his math mistake. And Elizabeth Pate, she'll borrow one of my excuses because I said she gets, for Christmas, she gets an excuse for not showing up. Um, maybe she could show up for one quarter of the anniversary show. That's a personal attack because I go over there and watch parts of football games.
Got
So
it.
yeah, that was a little bit more personal in
You
nature.
Irish could buy it.
Yeah, sort of like that. So yeah, that's about it though. But yeah, quite a bit there.
Yeah,
Um,
it was a pretty popular episode. I think the topic sort of hit home.
yeah,
The cookies. I did hear from the UP aficionado that says the gifts are not as she doesn't need a U-Haul, I guess. Like,
yeah.
remember I mentioned Tom Pack needed a U-Haul for his gifts. Although Tom Pack in the photo for the week had a nice U-Haul there. Again, that's not what any of these people do the job for.
No.
That's not why they do it, and nobody expects anything. I don't ever expect anything and don't want anything. So,
Well, ironically, I do have to say I did get a couple today. I want to give a shout out to a couple
oh, really?
people. Not everybody. I hope nobody feels like they're getting left out, but this was kind of cool. Trisha Boucher, Liv brought something in today. It was so
Oh,
nice of
nice.
her. And the DePauli family, very good
Oh, yeah.
friends of the Pates. Some pretty
Yes.
cool. Mom is
Nice
in
family.
education as well. Very nice family. Yeah. So
Hmm.
and doing besides Mrs. DePauli, who is a teacher, Mr. DePauli doing the good work with the UAW. Really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really doing really good work for those guys. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Exactly. So, anything else? Any other part
That's
we
it.
missed
That's
you?
it.
Okay. Your mic this week.
Yeah. Can I talk about fantasy football? Just
That's
kidding.
fine.
No, I lost 109 to 109.
Mike
I'm a little
Vrabel.
upset. Little Max beat me 109 to 109.
Oh,
No, but it is a NFL football player. This guy came back with a vengeance this week, and anybody that
okay.
had him in fantasy would be
Oh,
lucky to
yeah.
have him. Mike Evans. He was a great week, and they mentioned during the broadcast. I don't remember who it was. First ballot Hall of Famer, though. I tend to agree, and I think one of the more underrated receivers of all time. Mike Evans has just continued. I mean, he's getting up there in age, and he still came back to it was just killed it this week.
Yeah, it's
So.
amazing those guys that are up there like that that can pull that off to me. Those
Yeah.
older guys, especially in that position. So great, Mike.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Holiday break. We're going. The eyes are on 2:30 Friday. So I figured our education topic could be just what you're looking forward to once 2:30 hits on Friday, and what do you have going on to refresh and renew over the next 2 weeks in lovely Brownstown Township.
So I got a I got a couple books headed my way.
Okay,
I'm not going to get into what they are, but with the event, I'll just as a general with the events of the last year and a half in the Middle East. You stop and just think about it. And the events of Syria's president that was
exactly.
a
Yeah,
50-year plus dynasty, effectively from father to son. I don't know if it constitutes a dynasty when it's father
I
to
got
son,
wiped
but
out in about 16 days, if that.
crazy. and super hopeful for the folks in Syria, a little nervous. I remember being at a doctor, the man who delivered, not violating FERPA here, the man who delivered my kids is Syrian and actually left to get away from there. But he said, I'll never forget this, man, 13 years ago, around that time when the Civil War started, he said, be very careful what you wish for there. If he's overthrown, things could get ugly. So it's a cautiously optimistic time. So I got a couple books regarding the Middle East and just that we're watching history. And I told the kids on Monday, the Monday after the events took place, so a week ago, I said, there's probably 20 historical events. I could tell you exactly where I was when I found it out. This is going to be one of them. It really is a remarkable thing that happened. So I'm
So
looking
some
forward to
reading,
reading.
get some reading
Yeah,
in.
doing some reading. Yeah,
Okay, nice. My plans, Chloe just arrived back home today. So of course, family time and Christmas time and all that stuff.
sure.
But I hope to get some reading in. I want to get some television viewing in too, because I just seem to haven't been able to watch. I know you guys ridiculed me a little bit. I did watch the Yacht Rock documentary on Max over the weekend. It's pretty good. I'm telling you, it's actually pretty good. It's
I
a
get the
pretty,
feeling Jill Burguy would be a fan of that. Just
it was
another
actually pretty
listener.
good. And like, it was really a lot of Christopher Cross, uh, Michael McDonald, one of our Mikes. He's featured heavily in yacht. He's like the king of yacht rock, supposedly. Michael
Really?
McDonald. Yeah, the Doobie
Who
Brothers.
knew?
He is, yeah, look at that. So another Mike that leads the way. But some other TV viewing. I didn't finish Homicide: Life on the Street. We know the Ren Dogs. Big fan. By the way,
Oh
speaking of the
yeah.
Ren Dog,
Yep.
I had a text on my phone Friday morning at like 12:38, okay, from the Ren Dog. So the show goes up at 12:01. So he must have
So
got up right away, consumed it right away, and had praise for the episode. So he's beating Max by leaps and bounds.
will you be seeing him tomorrow?
He was a maybe on the RCP list, which I can respect. I love that's my type of guy. The maybe on the
Yeah,
yes, no, maybe. I'm always a maybe guy because
maybe.
that way, if you
No
don't
one can get
show,
mad at you if you don't show
nobody
up.
can get mad at you. So Ren
Yep.
Dog, I respect that. The only thing better than a maybe guy is a maybe guy and then an Irish goodbye and the same thing. You just sort of peace out. So his feedback was in there right away. It made me think of that. So we do have a little plan. Chloe, as she's only 19, around 20, me, my mom, and my sister Katie are heading over to across the border to the south,
You going to Mexico?
Windsor. Gonna eat a little dinner and
You
gamble.
gonna gamble?
Yeah, $100. You walk in the door, you hand the thing $100 American, they give you 135 Canadian. You already won.
Yeah.
You're already up $35. So at least
So,
you are as of today. I don't know. Once these tariffs hit, I
oh
might.
yeah, we don't need to go down that route though. So
Oh, okay.
listen, are we gonna set up this Piston game? And speaking of which, has
Oh,
there ever
yeah.
been a game where a team? So let me just give you some. We're going off. This
Coach
is
Torres went last night,
2 nights ago.
two
Yeah,
nights ago, the
amazing game.
overtime.
That's the game I was going
Yep.
to talk about.
Yep.
So up by 16 with 5 minutes left. Somehow lose that lead, which is
Yep.
incredible in and of itself. Overtime happens. They go down a ton, and Tim Hardaway Jr. on 3 consecutive possessions hits a three-pointer, then throws the ball away. But they still manage to find a way to win. It was you feel dirty after a win like that.
Well,
It's
you
like,
take whatever you can get. You're
I
right. We got to
guess,
find a game. We do got to find a game. So
yeah.
that's for sure. So definitely looking forward to the 2 weeks off. I have tickets too for the it's not the Motor City Bowl anymore, but whatever is at Ford
Quick
Field.
Lane Bowl, is that what it's called now?
Is that what it is? December
Uh,
26th, Toledo against the Pitt Panthers.
oh
So,
wow.
yeah, hail to Pitt.
Man, Pitt looked
So,
like they were. There was talk of a playoff
boy,
push this year, and
playoff push and
bottom fell out.
the bottom fell out. Yeah, and I don't like. They're talking a lot about on the radio that this era where guys are moving teams right now. Something has to happen. College football. This you can't have guys leaving when there's
It's
playoff
crazy.
games. Yeah,
It's nuts. I mean, this is not. This is like you think about how we would have viewed this sport even 5 years ago and
yeah,
what it's
it's
become. It's
crazy. Guys
insane.
were getting in trouble for eating a cheeseburger somewhere.
Yeah,
So.
right.
All right, so we hope everyone has a nice break. We hope not everyone has obviously 2 weeks off, but we hope everyone has a nice time with their family, good holidays. The weather looks like it's going to be mild, actually, a little snow maybe Friday, but then it warms up. Again, no complaints from me. All right, overrated, underrated. Christmas Day, just Christmas Day. We've done in the past, Christmas movies, Christmas songs. Christmas Day, what is your overrated?
So, okay, this is gonna sound like get off my lawn, guys. Something like when gifts start getting opened,
Yes.
I have an innate need to throw the wrap away.
You're the black garbage bag guy.
It drives me nuts. So for
That's
my
a dad thing.
overrated,
I think it's like a dad thing.
I got my daughter laughing here, giggling. Um, it is it just I can't. So it ruins the present aspect of it because I'm worried about this pile up of garbage. So for me, that's my overrated the gift wrap.
I'm not a
Let's do
big
away with gift wrap.
I'm not a big Darwin sort of guy and like, animal ins I think there's something built into the male species that like all of a sudden once wrapping starts opening, you've got to grab that black garbage bag.
You think
My
so?
dad did it as a kid when I was growing up and like when the kids start opening the presents, even now as young adults, first thing I do is go into the laundry room and get a black garbage bag, a cheap one though, not a real good one that's because it's just
Yeah, you got
paper.
right,
You're throwing paper into another bag.
right. So let's just start handing gifts without the wrap.
I have no problem with that. As a matter of fact, I just opened two things that my I bought for my wife and Chloe and look at like they came in this. I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. They're like wrapped in this thing, right? Like I don't need to wrap these.
What are they going to be listening to this episode or
No,
watching?
well, we know Elisa never listens to it. Chloe does sometimes, but if they're well, you see, look, it's wrapped. It's like there's like it's like a little notebook. So
Uh, was that the dog there?
yeah,
That's funny.
that's how things have changed. It used to be pictures of the kids. Now it's pictures of the
That's the
dog on
dog.
everything.
Okay. Yeah.
Times have changed. All right, my overrated. This is an easy one. Very simple. White Christmas. Oh, it's not going to be a white Christmas.
Right.
The how. First of all, part of the country,
Yeah.
a chunk of the country never gets it. So don't
Yeah.
act as if like the holiday goes on. To me, it doesn't make any difference. The holiday is not about that. A holiday is about family, good food, enjoying time. I'd rather actually not be white, so I don't have to be out there shoveling or clearing it. One year, many years ago, we went out to Phoenix. We flew out on Christmas Day. I love being on my sister's pool with it 80 degrees and sunny
Yeah.
and palm trees with lights on it. It was white Christmas, totally overrated. Probably Bing Crosby has something to do with that. I don't know, but totally overrated. Does
Love it.
not does not. I saw the news today. Well, the percent odds. Sorry, like the weather person's apologizing. This poor person that went for years to study for this degree, and they're apologizing to people. Like, if I was a weather person, I'd be like, "Hey, you should be happy. It's gonna be 45 and sunny.
Yeah. Go
Take it
walk
in."
around. Go for a walk. You go
Thanks,
take a walk on Christmas Day.
thanks a lot, Al Gore. All right, what do you have as underrated?
All right. So I don't know if this is underrated, but we didn't do this type of stuff. My family, we were too lame, I guess. I love the theme of Christmas pajamas. I think it's such a cool theme. So I'm going Christmas pajamas is underrated. Again,
Okay, I like that. And
anecdotally, we just didn't do it. So
in all honesty, it's a low cost thing to do.
it
Like Old
is. It
Navy has,
is.
I mean, you don't have, it's not one of these things you got to spend a ton of money on to do. Like Christmas, you're spending a ton of money as it is. Well, a pair of pajama pants are still very reasonable, even in Uncle Joe's economy. Okay.
Sure.
Like it's not,
Man,
okay.
you've really the tariffs, Al Gore, and
He's,
now Uncle
he's
Joe.
on his way out. He's quiet quitting from what I hear. Uh, Here's my underrated. And I don't want to, I want to word this carefully. I don't want to do anything in case we have younger viewers. The best years of Christmas are when your kids are in prime Santa Claus mode. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Those years are the absolute best. And now looking back as an adult, I always wondered like when I was that age, when I was a younger kid, and my parents really, I mean, there's like a small gift here or there to each other, but they never really got anything, but they still seem to like love the holiday.
Hmm.
And now I know looking after I lived through it, why you love the holiday. Those were the best days ever.
Yeah.
Those by far, not that now's not great. My daughter's, home
Sure.
from school and everything. It's still a nice holiday, but those years like two to whenever, okay, they're the best.
Hmm.
It's there's no better feeling I thought as a parent than those days when everyone's all in. I'm going to just leave it at that,
Yeah,
and
I
that to
agree.
me is underrated. And you don't, and then it's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
And it just, for me, I think it goes, it's a family thing. It's different for everybody, but it just kind of just suddenly goes away and you don't even realize it.
Nope. You don't know when the last time it's going to be.
No,
You don't
no.
know. And there's going to be there's going to be, like we have kids that have a similar gap, I think, right? Like, between
Three
years,
years.
there's going to be a year where it's going to be the last year for one and not the other, and that sort of thing. And,
Yeah.
I love those days. I mean, it was exciting. It was fun. It was the stuff leading up to it. Thankfully, I'm going to say this, thankfully, the Pehote household missed the Elf on the Shelf. I did not have the patience for it. And I think I mentioned this before.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we missed that. that probably would have took away the fun for me because I don't find that entertaining.
Boy, we're a couple get off my
Scrooge.
lawn guys here today for sure.
All right, for sure. Okay, we'd love to hear what everyone's overrated, underrated Christmas is. If it's, we'd love to hear it. Okay, hot mic take. What do you have this week?
Okay, so if my kids are listening to this one, they might get a chuckle out of this as well. Have you been, do your kids, and maybe they're a little bit older and maybe they missed the trend, the LED light thing that kids do in their rooms?
Oh, Chloe has them up in her room. They're in there. Nate, not so much. I don't know if it's more of a girl thing.
It's crazy to me, and maybe it's a girl thing. Like, you might as well just have the lights on. And yeah, I got my daughter laughing here, and one
Does she have
mocking
them
me.
on steady or do they like do stuff?
Steady. But
Rock
before
steady.
one once in a while you'd have the blinking one. I don't know how
Yeah.
kids sleep with this. This is really odd to me. And I want to know, maybe there's some sleep experts out there. Maybe Dr. Rice can offer the psychological input on this one. Are kids getting enough sleep when they have their lights on like this?
So do they sleep? Are they on all night?
On all night.
Oh, okay.
And if you
I
look, like if you were to come to the front of my house right now, my oldest daughter Natalia's windows in the front, it looks like the lights are on.
Yes. I see that up and down this when I'm walking in the morning.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
is the sleep normal? Are they getting the normal
I
REM and
can
all that stuff?
listen, I can sleep through anything. My wife stays up and watches TV, has the light on. To me, it doesn't matter. I mean, but I think it's like a lower light. I don't know. I mean, I heard the problem with those is when you go to remove them, what it does to your drywall.
Yeah, she tears out. Yeah.
Just leave it in, sell the house as is, free.
Yeah.
That's what I plan to do.
Knock
So
up a couple hundred off of that for that for the
yeah, there
LED
you go.
lights.
So yeah, no, it's a big thing. Nate does not have them. Chloe, they're in her room. I think she always had them in her dorm and apartment. So yeah, who knows? I hear you. I have some in the one reading room in the library. I put them up.
Okay. Well, but
So
it's a reading room, but you're not sleeping,
well, some
presumably.
people. Yes, I'm not sleeping in there.
Right.
So all right, yeah, it is what it is. All right, hot mic take for me this week, huh? Well, I'm going to tell you this. I sort of hinted at it a little bit. I want to just say Uncle Joe is quiet quitting, and that's fine. He wants to move on. Uh, I don't. I wish he would just come out and say his goodbyes. I told you this, and this is not me be trying to be rude. We're not trying to be political at all. I feel for the guy because I told you this, right? The way he looks different from July to now,
Mm-hmm.
I fear for his
Yeah.
longevity.
Mm-hmm.
And what he thought to run is just crazy to me. I don't
Yeah.
understand. I hope to make it to 80. I hope to make it to 80. But when I'm 78, 79, I'm not doing anything like that.
No.
So that's just my thing. I feel like he's a different person just in the last 3 months. So um, that's my hot mic. It has nothing to do about left or right. I just feel for the guy that is at that age that he's having to do this and was thought he could do it for another 4 years.
Right. It's incredible. I always
That's
come back to Mitch McConnell, who literally looked like he was having a stroke. And Biden hasn't gone to that point, but he just looks like he's not
well, and again,
there.
we've talked. You want to throw Nancy Pelosi fell and broke her hip overseas just this
Hmm.
last week. You saw this, right?
Yeah.
And what is she? She's in her mid 80s, I believe, or
I
low mid
mid
80s.
to early to mid 80s.
Okay, that's a that I'm not a orthopedic. I'm not a rehab doc. That's a that's a tough surgery,
Yeah.
hip replacement. Like what are we doing?
Right.
Like I'm 49 and I'm counting down the years to
Yeah.
retire.
It's
Okay,
crazy.
I don't understand what it is. And then like I just saw today, like AOC tried to be the Democrat lead on a chair on a committee and lost to some guy that's like 75, 76. Like what? Like
And you don't want to be ageist in a sense, because with age comes wisdom. But man, there has to be a cutoff where you've reached that point where
I just don't understand like why. I don't know what,
I
like
know
don't you get to a point where like I like I wanted to sit on the beach. I want to
I
read a
want to
book.
sit and watch a yeah,
Yeah,
right,
I want to
right.
watch Yacht Rock, the
Yeah, right. There you
documentary.
go. Yes, yes.
Again, listen to some Michael McDonald. I mean,
Right, right.
whatever. I mean, they're gonna obviously. I mean, now like in Michigan, where Alyssa Slotkin is a younger female, so I guess that's a good thing. She's younger than me, I think. I'm
I,
pretty sure she's
I I
younger than
think
me.
you're right. I think she's younger than me as
But
well.
that's
I
nice, you know. So maybe, you know, who knows? Hopefully that's what I mean. JD Vance is a young guy. You know, so it
mhm.
is what it is. So
He is younger than us.
there
Alyssa
is hope.
Slotkin is younger than you. She's 48.
Oh, not
I th
much.
no, I thought she was younger than me too,
Yeah.
but she is not. I am curious about Nancy Pelosi now as we're
I thought it
84.
was 80,
Jeez, oh Pete's.
84. Yeah, 84 going on
Wow.
85. And broke her hip overseas.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with going overseas.
No, just
All
time
right.
to hang him up, man.
Yes. All right. Here's what we're going to do. This is our last episode of 2024. There are three NFL games left on the schedule.
Hmm.
We're only going to have this episode before uh this one, and then there's Christmas Day games, and we don't like depending on how the calendar when we record. I what I want you to do is we're not going to pick each game, but I want you to each team. The Lions are playing um this week at the Bears, at San Francisco, home against Minnesota. Okay. Steelers at Baltimore, home against Kansas City, home against Cincinnati. What is the Lions record going to be out of those three games? That's what we're picking right now.
I'm gonna go 3-0.
Wow, look at you.
Again, and they progressively get harder. The Bears still could. I mean, last year Lions went in Soldier Field and lost. Uh, but to me, they looked done last week. San Francisco has guys quitting to begin with. I think it's going to be a tough game. Maybe that would make their season to win that game, but I don't think so. Those two games I think are going to be wins. I'm not going to say nothing's going to be easy at this point because they're playing without arguably four of their best defensive players. Um, but I just think in general, I think they're better than Minnesota. And I know it's tough to say that now, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them lose even two of those three games. If they lost all three, it'd be disappointing and a surprise. But if they lost two of the three, it would not surprise me. But I think they're going to win. I think they're going to circle the wagons and get home field. To me, their shot at the Super Bowl, I'm going to agree with Valeni and Rico on this one, is to get the one seed. The Super Bowl odds have gone considerably down. There's no anybody with a half a brain is going to acknowledge that. You might still make the prediction that they make it, but I think they can win these three games. So I'm going to say they're going to go 3-0.
Wow, look at that. I am going to go with the Lions. I'm going to go 2-1, but I think the loss might be San Francisco.
Okay.
I just, I always think it's tough on a team traveling from
Yeah,
one coast to the next. It's an they're a little in turmoil out there, but that's a prideful
it
organization.
is a
They're not going
prideful
to lay down. They're
organization.
well coached. They're
Well, great coach.
they
Yeah,
played the Rams really tough, who I'm high on the Rams. They just played
yeah.
the Rams. They held them without a touchdown. So, but I still think they're going to end up being the one seed. I think even with the 2-1, as long as they don't lose that game to Minnesota, as
So
long
you
as the
think they're Philly and Minnesota? Well, obviously if they beat Minnesota, but you think Philly's going to lose another game then?
yeah, I think well they have three NFC East
Washington's their
games.
toughest
They
game.
really have to lose this first one. Yeah, man, I'm not as scared of playing in Philly as I am playing in Minnesota, but I don't know.
Okay.
Um, Pittsburgh is going to go 2-1 as well. And the good news about that is, even if they lose to Baltimore this Saturday, they would still win the North if they go 2-1. So they could lose to Baltimore and then beat Cincinnati and Kansas City at home, and I think they'll be okay. Would be great to beat Baltimore and wrap it up. I'm not. The sky is not falling. Philadelphia. There was no shame in losing at Philadelphia. They're a good
No.
team. They shut down Saquon Barkley. They were going in for a score to cut it to a single, a low, one, below one score, and Najee Harris just dropped a pitch. So they did everything they had to do. T.J. Watt's not that banged up. I don't think that they are on the same caliber as Buffalo. I don't think they can go into Buffalo and win a game, but I think they can beat just about anybody else in the AFC in a playoff game, including Baltimore, anywhere. And as I told you, other than Buffalo, the rest of the NFC to me is the Super Bowl champion. Whether it's Detroit, Philly, Minnesota, or LA,
And
those are
hey,
the
Tampa Bay is a good team now too.
Tampa Bay too.
This is
Those are the teams that Buffalo, though. I would imagine Buffalo would probably be the favorite because they've beaten everybody.
at the
That's
moment they're on another level. But they lost to the Rams a week ago, and
yeah.
again, you look at the comparative between the Lions and the Bills this past Sunday. I know it's a part of the NFL, but the Bills have three guys on IR right now. Lions have 22. Like it was
Yep.
not a it
Yep.
wasn't at full strength. It really feels like we just fate cheated us. I hope Campbell will have to pull off some magic here, and it just sucks. It sucks as a
Well, the
Lions
NFL,
fan.
it's you're right. It's a crapshoot. I mean, and stuff has to go your way. We've talked about this. Like I said, I mentioned it to you earlier. There were better Steeler teams that didn't win the Super Bowl
Hmm.
than that team that went on the road and won three. Sometimes
Yeah,
things just fall your way.
things
You
fall
know,
into place.
look at
Yeah,
the Patriots team that was undefeated. That was probably their best team, and you know, Eli Manning pulled some. And that Giants team wasn't anything. I mean, they were okay. They were. Isn't that a team that went up to Green Bay, right? And won in the cold.
yeah, in the cold.
Yeah, I mean that Green Bay team was supposed to win that game. Like
That was that Favre or was it Rodgers by then?
I think that might have been Rodgers by
Was that
then.
Rodgers by then?
Yeah,
Yeah, and Aaron Rodgers and Ryan Clark. Those are some. You mentioned the the Pittsburgh Super Bowl teams. Ryan
yeah,
Clark really. That was quite the
yeah,
commentary.
yeah. That was, and again, I think that was one. That's another example. I think that Pittsburgh team was better than that Green Bay team. But it didn't.
Yeah,
Mendenhall
things have to.
fumbled the ball. Mendenhall dropped the ball.
Yeah,
Like, what are you gonna
right.
do? It's crazy. All right. That's going to be it for 2024. We are in the process of setting up an episode with Carlson alumna Sarah Fox. She did a little culinary education, but then made the switch to UAW work, which I
Hmm.
think is going to be very interesting, which is what I want to talk about and hear about that. You talked about Marco's dad. You have the experience of family that have done it. My mother-in-law worked at Woodhaven Stamping for years. This is a lot of people do this job in this area, and it's important. And I want to hear about like how we feel about it, how we got there. I want to hear about the culinaries too, because you know me, I love to eat.
Yeah, we've heard that. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, hey, Merry Christmas to all our listeners. Get well, Shannon Bailey. Have a great break. I will still see you tomorrow, and I'll see you over the break,
Fridays
I'm
more.
sure.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
and we'll get together for a Zoom early in 25.
Yeah. Okay. Cool,
All right.
cool.
Have a great week, everybody.